Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing. This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk
Can you hear me?
Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing. This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
What am I doing? Nothing. I'm trying to do something.
Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing. This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This
Hello,
is
people.
Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
Nothing. I should probably get my earphones on.
This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is
Probably get my earphones on.
brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing. This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time
Just let me know when everything's a go.
brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
What's up? What's up? Everybody hear me good?
We can hear you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna come up tonight if you don't mind.
Show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard
Time.
to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by
Tony
Yeah,
just
the
gonna
picture
come
of
on
it.
like Tony just gonna come on like Mike did.
This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
I hope y'all did what
This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing. This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing. This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing. This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing. This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing. This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing. This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing. This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing. This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing. This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday with your Heavy Bag Boxing team. I'm your host, Robert Alexander. Alongside me tonight, we have the captain of the ship. We have Lucas Biggers. We have James. And we have from Danger Zone Boxing. And now, officially, if I can make the announcement, now an honorary member of the Tough Talk Tuesday team, Malachi. Everybody, how's it going? All right. So a little bit here as they join along, we may have a special interview tonight with long-term referee Tony Weeks.
We do have that interview. Sorry to interrupt, and he's having some trouble getting on, so we'll work with him on that.
Cool.
Get him on.
So bear with us, people. We'll have Tony on here shortly. When he does come on, I'll be introducing him. So Lucas, we had some fights up this weekend. We had some news coming through the wires as well this week. So we can just look at a few things here, but we're also waiting on Shakur and Javier to probably join in a little bit later. But Lucas, what's your thoughts on Amanda Serrano's KO victory last Thursday?
I mean, she always looks good, and she did what she needed to do. I think everybody would have picked her in that fight, so nothing surprising. But it's good to always see her in the ring. I mean, she's always an interesting fight and exciting to see.
Yeah, some people though were trying to give her a hard time, saying that she looked a little rusty out there. And they thought that the KO came a little too late. I'm still impressed with the fact that she did get the knockout, whereas always Clarissa Shields hasn't been able to. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, she does struggle with that, but just kind of like a double standard, because I think Mayweather and a lot of other pro fighters don't get that, but she gets that a lot. She eats a lot of crow for that. I don't agree with it.
All right, Malachi. So Amanda Serrano, I know you're big on her right now. As far as the ladies go, what was your take on that knockout victory?
I agree 100% with Lucas. I thought she, the knockout was spectacular, and she always does look good. We had this discussion. I think you were part of it. I think she's one of the top 5 women boxers of all time, but like I said then, it's kind of hard for me to put her in the number 1 pound for pound spot, which her accolades would seem to deem her, when she constantly says that Clarissa Shields is the number 1 pound for pound women's boxer in the world. But I think she's right up there. I thought that knockout was excellent.
So we got Shakura with us now. Shakura, our first lady of this show. What is your thought on this lady, Amanda Serrano? And, do you think that she has a nod over Clarissa Shields, or you still think it's Clarissa?
Yeah, I've always loved Amanda Serrano. I don't have a problem. Her boxing skills are just phenomenal. So we got to be talking about, overall, I still feel that Clarissa is pound for pound number one. But secondly, definitely Amanda Serrano fits into that category, mainly because the boxing skill set is so high. And, she is at a lower weight class, so that does put her at an advantage in her in her division. But to say the most things possible that I can say good about Amanda is, hey, she got her girl out of there. So, she got her opponent out of there. She got her W. It was in Puerto Rico. So, I mean, she just had an amazing weekend. And, nobody can take that from her. So, me personally, I'm a huge Amanda Serrano fan, as well as Clarissa Shields. So, I'm rooting for both of them, basically.
All right. Okay, so it looks like we're gearing up towards Tony here. He looks like he's getting ready to connect on here pretty soon. So when he does, I'll be introducing him. But my take pretty much on it, guys, is, I mean, I hate to beat this horse, but I still feel like knockouts is where it's at in this sport. I still feel like Serrano is getting the knockouts, whereas Clarissa is not. And the weight class, the styles, the competition, that may weigh a factor in on it. So you really can't judge it based off of that. But to me, Amanda Serrano is more exciting to watch than Clarissa. I'm not going to say the accolades here are different, but in my opinion, I just am more excited to see Serrano fight a little bit more than I am with Clarissa Shields right now, and that's how I'm judging it.
Would you put Serrano above Clarissa in pound for pound?
And that's a tough discussion, because accolades, no. I think Clarissa has the most accolades out of any professional woman.
I mean, Serrano can put some things up that she can't either, though. 8 division champion.
Yeah, and 8 division champion. Carissa's a 2 division undisputed champion. She's undisputed in 2 divisions, but it goes back to her winning ways in the Olympics. She's also a 2-time Olympic champion, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. So she's won at every single level that she's ever fought. All right, guys. So let's get into some. Let's go ahead and get into some of these announcements that were made this week that I kind of want to get your touch on before we touch on the other fights for the weekend. But there's some good announcements that was made. We know that Lomachenko will be returning to the ring. And guys, he's set to fight Nakatani. Nakatani, we've seen in the recent, this past year, is a very, very tough fighter at that division. Now, Lomachenko was coming off of the loss to Teofimo Lopez, and he's coming off another surgery. Guys, what do you think about this matchup? And I'll start with Shakura. What do you think about this matchup for Lomachenko? Is he going to be okay out there? Is it going to be rust? Can he handle Nakatani?
I think Nakatani is one of those type of boxers that you kind of don't look that great with. What was that? So I don't think that, you can't look that good against him, basically. That's what I've seen from past performances. And Lomachenko has had plenty of time to recover from his injury, so I don't see that as being an issue. If anything, I would even bet to say that being able to do the surgery and getting back healthy as far as the physicalities with his shoulder probably will assist him in looking better than what he did for the majority of the fight with Teofimo. So I really don't see it as an issue having that surgery. If anything, it's a benefit because I'm pretty sure he probably feels a lot better. than what he's done in the past. I've heard of boxers in the past fighting with injuries through tough fights. I mean, not one, but back to back type fights, and still putting off surgery. So I'm just happy that he's able to have had the time to do the surgery, but also recover from the surgery without much pressure on when he was coming back. I'm more interested because I just wanted to see him, back at 130. I mean, that's what he said he liked to do. So, I mean, for me, that's more of something that I would target as far as maybe, something we can find out along the lines, whether or not he's going to, continue to say that or not. I mean, is it going to be an issue or not to be 130 now? Because the first thing you wanted to do after the Tio fight, is be like, well, people were just, I won't even say him, but that was what was said, is he probably will go back to 130. So let's see after this situation here, if he wins, if that's still, the feeling.
All right, we got some comments here. CJ Hooker says he will be fine. Coming in again, Loma will be back on track.
So CJ Hooker, he will not be fine. I do not think he will be fine. He had a hell of a loss against Teofimo Lopez. He's coming off the surgery, and Nakatani is no joke. He's proven to be no joke in the ring. Now, yes, there is a certain skill set and a certain level you have to fight against Lomachenko, but is that diminished? Is that diminished? Was he really even that great? Is what I'm challenging. And yes, I'm kind of stepping up the fuel to the fire tonight for the fans out there. But you know how I feel. Y'all know how I feel. He proved me wrong one time. After I said for years the man was nothing. He proved me, and then he proved me right after he proved me wrong. If that makes any sense.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Stop.
Malachi, what's your take on this fight? Lomachenko versus I don't forgot the man's name.
Nakatani.
Nakatani.
I think this is a bad fight for Lomachenko. I think Nakatani is the type of fighter. He's rugged. He's gonna come with that bullish style. He's gonna be up on Lomachenko all night. As Shakur said, it is very difficult to look good versus Nakatani. You go back through Teofimo Lopez's history. Nakatani's really the only one who really pushed him. And that's because of the style of fighter is. He's going to be taller than Loma. He's going to be the naturally bigger man. I think this is a bad fight for him, especially coming off of this layoff since the Teofimo Lopez fight. And I just think Nakatani is all wrong for him. I'm taking Nakatani to win the fight.
Well, that's an early prediction. No, that's an early prediction. This fight is now scheduled to a little later, so we're getting predictions on that show. But, I mean, I got to agree with Malachi. I think that Nakatani is no joke. And, again, like I said, I'm now back into that category with I'm going to pick against Lomachenko every time. Every time. I'm going to pick against him because I don't think he's that great of a talent as you people have put him up to be.
Oh, man.
We're supposed to say something back to that.
I don't even know what to say.
We're going to just continue to have this argument with him again now after we finally got him to acknowledge the man's amazing skill level. Now we're going to prove me right. After one loss, see what I'm saying about American fans? After one loss, you're ready to kick his ass to the curb and say he's trash again. Rob, I'm disappointed in you, okay? Because the man has achieved great things, just like you just argued that Clarissa Shields has done. He has done also plenty of things, accolades that make him an amazing boxer. But you don't want to give him credit. No. Because you are just on this tip that you just want to see Lomachenko fail. Why are you doing this?
Now, because you said he did great things. I think he's done good things, but not great. for one, he hasn't been undisputed in any of his divisions. And like I always say, when I'm judging, now
neither has Canelo. Neither has Canelo.
I have my own right to have my own criteria of where I judge a fighter on. I have my own right to that. And the way that I judge him, whether you guys believe it right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm entitled to my own opinion. And the way that I judge him is you either hold your own and remain undisputed in your weight class, or you move up and win. And when he moved up, he lost. And that's what I'm judging him by. That fact right there, I think he has trouble with Nakatani. I think he has trouble, like Shakira said, at this weight class. And to me, that's not great.
I can't say when he moved up, he lost. I can't say that because he moved up and won a world title. Then he defended the world title.
Right.
He just ran into a young kid that was determined and has a very bright future in Teofimo. I can't say that. I think 130 is the better weight class for Lomachenko. In this fight, I just think the style that Nakatani brings and the advantages he has in size are just going to be too much for Lomachenko.
I think anybody at this division presents that issue for him right now. That's just my opinion. We'll let that play out in the ring. But if I told you so, I told you so, and you know I'm going to tell you.
Oh my God!
But you took Lomachenko. I'm the only one on this. Well, no, Sakura. Me and Sakura are the only ones who took Teofimo.
That's right.
Anyways, so back to another.
We ain't gonna talk about that, but
another fighter that's on the up and coming ranks in this division. We have announcements for Ryan Garcia's next fight. Guys, he's projected to fight Javier Fortuna for his next bout, which to me is a great looking fight for him. I think that Cool Hand Luke was a great step up. I think this is an even better step up, especially the way that Fortuna looks right now. Now, we all know the play on Fortuna. He looks this great against these lesser opponents, gets the shot, and then he loses. But still, I think if Ryan Garcia, if there's any pretense, any issue with Ryan Garcia, Fortuna can expose some of that. Lucas, what's your thoughts on this fight for Ryan?
You know, I don't know. You hold Fortuna to a bigger standard than I do, I think. I think Lenora is even the tougher fight. That's just me. You know, like you said, he loses when he steps up. I'm not holding. Really can't. It's not a step up for me. It's a level fight at best with Fortuna. And you said, you know, it's a step up. I don't think it is. I think he's equal to Cool Hand Luke, maybe even, dare I say, less than. I would love to see those two actually fight each other, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, I'm like, I'll watch it, but yeah, I'm not too excited there, buddy.
Shakur, is this a good test for Ryan Garcia, or are you on the side of Lucas? You think it's too much for Fortuna?
I think it's a good fight for Garcia. He's still in the learning process. He's still, you know, in a situation where he had the amazing body punch against Campbell, but now we have to see him in the next step. I mean, Fortuna is a very tricky and very awkward boxer coming at you from different angles. And by the way, just to correct you a little bit, Rob, he did win a fight against Easter. He just didn't get it on paper, because that, for me, he won that fight. So that's a situation where we learn that Fortuna may have good luck when it comes to taller boxers. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say that this is going to be a great fight. And we're going to see Ryan Garcia learn from this experience, and if he can take that test of having someone that likes to pressure and likes to be in your face, or likes to be on angles and likes to be off balance, he's going to get a chance to see all that, you know, sometimes the type of tricky boxers that can cause those A-side fighters. Fortuna is really improved a lot in the last couple of years too. As long as he doesn't get injured, that's when we start seeing issues. So I, for one, think this is going to be great. Why not?
All right, Malachi, I'm dying to hear your thoughts.
I think this is a great litmus test for Garcia. I think this is a make or break fight for Fortuna, though. And I think they coming in, he's going to know that. He's going to need to beat Ryan Garcia to propel him up for another big shot. Because if he loses this, it's already a stacked division, and his name's going to fall down the ladder. If he is to lose, I'm really interested to see how Ryan deals with him, because he's going to be a completely different fight than Luke Campbell. He's more slick. Fortuna's faster. I think he has a little bit higher ring IQ at the professional rank. I think Luke still suffers a lot from some of the things that he did as an amateur, and I think this could be a very dangerous fight for Ryan Garcia, because we really haven't seen him versus anybody with the ability to move laterally and really box the way that Fortuna can when we've seen him perform excellently.
Yeah, I'm excited about that fight, actually. The more you talked about it, Malachi, I'm feeling like that's going to be like something that's going to be like really competitive in a way. And then we'll see just how much variety in punches Ryan Garcia has learned by being in the staple with Canelo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with it. I think it's going to be a great test for Ryan Garcia. Another little honorable mention. We don't really have to touch on this one, but a little honorable mention out there. We have Devin Haney, Linares bout supposed to be made as well.
That's the better fight. You're not going to talk about the better one. I mean, that's the better fight.
Okay, Lucas, go ahead. Jump in there, buddy. What is your thoughts on that fight?
I mean, Linares...
Because you guys are pretty damn harsh on Devin Haney, if I might add.
I don't think I've been harsh on Haney. I mean, Haney hadn't had like a big enough fight for us to even like discuss Haney lately, right? So, I mean, I don't even see how it'd be harsh. Look, I mean, he just hasn't had any fight meaningful. So if that's being harsh, I mean, that's being harsh. But this is really his biggest fight to date against somebody who's, a veteran. I mean, he's very well seasoned. The only really question now with this fight, and the only possible downplay, is Linares on the slide. But we don't know that. I mean, he did have a good showing since the loss to Lomachenko, but he's had a bad one. So we're still on the iffy side. We don't know. But honestly, if he wins, he's going to start to get a lot of respect. I think it's a big learning process also for Haney, because that kind of a fight, you will always take something away out of it.
Shakur, your thoughts?
Well, I think finally Devin Haney gets a name that people will not only recognize but respect if he gets a W. The Gamboa situation didn't work out too well for him. First of all, it was like leftovers from Gervonta St. David. But this time, Linares will be a first crack at lightweight with the newer generation of boxers that's there. So I don't think that he'll get that stigma. But also, I think that it's going to be amazing just to see a different dynamic when it comes to Devin Haney. Because right now, if he tries to stick with the same strategy of being boxer, and then you got Linares, it's boxer versus boxer, and it could be very tactical and hard to judge. So if he wants to make sure that he gets a W, he may want to come from a different point of view, a different strategy that gets him either a unanimous decision or gets him an early W. So I think that's the challenge for Devin Haney in this particular fight. As far as Linares is concerned, we have to figure out whether or not, he's not a spring chicken. Yes, we all know that, but he's been able to perform at top tier levels, even being older. But now you add on the whole situation where he had COVID. will they be long haulers situation with COVID or not? We don't know for sure, but we definitely hope not. But if it's one thing that we've learned about, COVID and the after effects for people that live is that they oftentimes don't have the same stamina, don't have the same, what do you call it, energy level. So we're going to have to, just see how that plays out. And if I was Devin Haney, those are some of the things that I would take in mind when I'm creating my strategy. But I'm
okay. James, I want to see if you want to jump in here because we haven't gotten to you yet. If you want to jump in on that topic.
Yes, if I'd love to repeat the question, please. I'm trying to get our.
Oh no, you good.
Trying to get Tony on.
Yeah, go ahead, Malachi. Go ahead, Malachi.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is an interesting fight for me. Start with Linares. I've always been a fan of Linares. I think he was an excellent champion at the weight classes he was champion at. But when I speak to a lot of professional fighters and trainers, the one thing that they always say when his name comes up is he can't handle pressure. That he tends to fold when you can bring that pressure to him. Here's the kicker: that's not who Devin Haney is. So I'm wondering how this fight's going to play out. I favor Haney because I think he, at this point particularly, he's got the higher ceiling and the fresher legs. But again, that's really his style isn't the style that gives Linares the most problems. Now, when he fought Lomachenko, I noticed that Lomachenko spent a lot more time in front of him, throwing combinations and putting a little more on his shots than you usually see him do. And I think that reason is because the word is out there, Linares struggles with pressure. So I'm interested to see how Haney and his team come into this fight.
That's an interesting situation there you just mentioned, Malachi. I mean, I'm really thinking that that's kind of like what I was saying about boxer versus boxer. And if Devin Haney really wants to make this like a pivotal type of fight that's impressive for his, future lineup of fights and what we want to see as fans, then he's got to make this impressive. He's got to win impressively. And Linares is the type that kind of like you're not able to win impressively, even if you do win. So he's got to come up with another strategy besides just, going like, waiting for, the counter shots and just kind of hanging back with the jab.
Look, this has to be a fight where Haney makes his mark, period. Because of this situation with Gamboa. Really, this is the same spot. This is the same type of fight as a Gamboa fight because Linares is a gatekeeper. But Gamboa, like you had mentioned already, Gamboa had already been through that with Tank. And that was pretty much Tank's coming out party. So if Devin Haney wants to make this his coming out party, he has to do something extravagant. He has to do something nobody's done to Linares before. He has to look good doing so. He has to win, and not only win the rounds, he has to win the rounds very undisputedly. He really has to be dominant in this fight if he's going to make his biggest mark, because Ryan Garcia's already done it. Tank's already done it. He's got to do it too. So, guys, now I want to get into some meat because I have some other surprise topics to throw at you a little bit later in the show.
Surprise. I don't like your surprises.
But I want to go ahead and get in. I want to go ahead and get into this past weekend's fight. So we all made predictions, and we all kind of were a little bit on the fence on it. But for the majority of it, let's just say this: some of us were right, some of us were wrong. Dillian Whyte came into this fight against Povetkin. He just came off of a knockout loss to the man. And guys, he showed out. He really did. All everything aside, he really came and showed out. He fought his ass off. He won the fight. He won it decisively. There's no argument there. And he probably could very well have put Povetkin into retirement. Lucas, what is your take on this fight, this victory? And actually, two parts here. What does it mean now for the heavyweight division?
I mean, it was a good win. I'm glad for him. He got a repeat. I think we're going to end up seeing, a third fight. But as far as like any changes to the division, let's not get it twisted. It was a fun fight to watch, but it means nothing for the division. The division's the same, no matter who won or lost that fight. I'll say it. Nobody else wants to say it. It's harsh, I know, but let's face it. These guys aren't deciding the deciding factors. They're not the elite. I'm not saying that they can't step up and challenge and maybe look good doing it, but ultimately I think the result would be the same. So, no, I don't think this affects the division whatsoever. But they owe Whyte a fight. They really do. I mean, they owe Whyte a fight. He better get a big money fight after this. If not, it's pretty messed up.
Now, that being said, Eddie Hearns is saying Wilder. Wilder has to
that's
take
a big
that
money
fight now.
That's a big money fight. It's a step in the direction. It's not a title shot though, and that's what he earned. So if the man really wants that belt, you gotta give him a shot at the titles. It is what it is. They need to make him number one contender. It just needs to happen.
Shakur, what are your thoughts?
Well,
you owe the man. Pay up. Sorry, Shakur.
I just can't get over Lucas's bluntness right there. That this was a big fat nothing burger. I really actually was thinking something similar, but I did think that Dillian Whyte was not playing around.
Sakura said, I would have put it a little easier.
Yeah,
toned it down just a bit.
A little nicer. I was thinking, what I was really thinking? I'm like, damn, so what happens when he does win this fight? Like, what? Well, who does he fight? Because, who he was supposed to fight doesn't have the title anymore, which was Wilder. And now you got a 2-fight deal with Fury and AJ going on. So he's still freaking stuck, guys. He's still stuck. This is just so shitty. If I was Dillian Whyte, I don't know how. He wants to get right back in the gym. So kudos to him for still having the heart and the determination to see this whole pathway through for himself. But damn, I would just be like, I'm done. I'm sick of this. I have went through 8 fights now 9 fights, and I'm still in a position in a chess game in which I'm losing. I'm sitting in the middle of the board and I'm not being used, basically. So it's got to be frustrating for the guy. It just has to be. And not taking nothing away from Whyte, but he didn't get much pushback from Povetkin this time, guys. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit because I did feel that he just didn't look right from the beginning. Sasha was looking kind of, I don't know, he was off balance most of the fight. He was, kind of weak looking. I don't know what it was, but it definitely made it easy for Dillian. And if he had gave a harder competitive fight for Whyte, he wouldn't have been right away yeah, we can run it back again. We can do a third fight. And then I started thinking, that's because it was so damn easy that you're okay with having a third fight with this man. But even if he is okay with it, it's still well, what the hell else are you going to do? Because I doubt if Whyte is going to fight. I doubt it. He gets the winner of AJ. Well, apparently, allegedly, he gets the winner of whomever, wins the 2-fight situation with AJ and Fury. So, it's if he fights Dillian and Dillian somehow wins, then what? do you still gonna get that fight? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a good. I mean, he got paid money regardless. So, step aside money. So why should he be, he's not going to be pressed to fight Dillian over here in the States. I don't think so, unless he wants to just use him and considers him to be, a weaker opponent that can't, really do anything with him. I don't see him taking that fight. So Dillian, once again, where the hell does he go? Does he try to get at one of these young dudes that's in the division now? I mean, you got George Joyce. I mean, what can we do with Dillian? You guys tell me. I'm confused.
He can be moved around, but yeah, let's see. Let's get some comments here, though, Rob, for me to cut you off there. CJ Hooker, does anyone think Whyte can beat AJ or Fury? I don't think so. He should fight Wilder, and the winner gets a shot at AJ and Fury after the 2-fight deal is done. I agree completely. I told him he should take the Wilder deal, but also if you owe the man, you got to pay the man. You got to give him a shot, whether you want him to or not. Yes, A's family. She's the best.
Oh.
Then Dale, Dillian Whyte did exactly what he was supposed to do against a guy in his 40s, but come on, he was just leveled a few months back with one punch, mind you, at best. He doesn't beat AJ or Fury, and Wilder KOs him. I gotta agree. I mean, yeah, he needs to take the Wilder fight and prove himself. I mean, that'll get him any fight he wants, but it's also you pay. You did what you're supposed to do. You got one KO apiece, so I do feel like you kind of have to settle it. I mean, we need at least a solid winner now. So, next KO wins.
I mean...
And then the winner gets Wilder, right? Like, just go immediately back to it. Why not?
Okay, I mean, look. If you're Wilder, you have to take a fight right now. You have to. You're coming off of a loss, and you haven't fought in years.
Right.
You have not fought in years.
You don't think that Wilder is looking at Povetkin and Whyte and just licking his lips?
I haven't seen the man win. I haven't seen the man win in 2 years. He needs to fight. I don't give a damn if it's Joe Blow off the street. I need to see him fight before I can say anything.
And I think
I don't give a damn who it is.
Would y'all be upset if Wilder took a tune-up, so to speak?
Nope, not at all. Matter of fact, I hope that's what he does do.
Now,
how does Andy Ruiz sound after he fights Areola? Did that work?
Ruiz?
Andy Ruiz, the Destroyer?
Yeah, Ruiz
versus Wilder?
Yeah, I don't think we should even start with Ruiz.
Ruiz can box him. I mean, I think it can.
Yeah, he's a good boxer.
It's kind of a dream, but
I think it's a good match. I like that fight.
I think a tune-up, then Ruiz. I think that.
Look, I'm just saying there's enough out there in the heavyweight division for these guys to all be fighting. You still have Ortiz in the mix. You still have Ruiz in the mix. This kid on the undercard of this fight looked good. Now, he's an up-and-coming fighter, but he had a hell of a knockout victory. He looked good.
I think this comment is made for Malachi. Says, Billy Joe about to eat from Oldies.
That was at you, Malachi.
CJ Hooker says, let Whyte fight Ruiz. Yeah. I mean, that's a good fight, too. I mean, the winner takes that. I mean, apparently it's going to be whoever wins is going to be a pay-per-view, right? So, I mean, that one's, oh, man. It's going to be another pay-per-view.
Pick with y'all. Y'all are letting Wilder off the hook. He needs to fight.
He needs to, but we can't make him.
We didn't say for him not to fight.
Right. We can't make him.
Yeah. But why is you trying to feed him get him back in shape first? And then you're about to try to throw him in there with Ruiz or Dillian that's in top shape right now. I mean, hey, if Wilder's sitting home in Alabama, like I'm sitting here in Florida, just eating my best life, he's gonna need to get in shape, and he's gonna need to then take a tune-up, then go after some of these other cats to regain his it's more not his standing, but just to regain his momentum back. it's a momentum situation for him.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Malachi,
Well,
you didn't quite. Go ahead. No, James, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, didn't Deontay Wilder get a whole bunch of step aside money, like 25 mil or something? Is that right? Is that true or is that rumor?
Well, that's
I
true.
heard it was true.
Yeah, as far as I
He
know,
got 25. He got 25 million. He can do anything he wants. He can pick up a few fights here and there.
Right. Why
like
fight?
you said, Rob, just a couple of fill-in fights there, and he's liquid, so he can just sit there and wait for Anthony Joshua or Fury to come back.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Good. I don't think it's in his best interest to do that. But I mean, I see what you're saying. It's like, I mean, he's not going to be motivated by money, you know.
The one thing about Wilder,
Wilder, he's not going to be motivated by money because he already got a big purse just to step aside.
Yeah, talking about
that fight.
Talking about Wilder, he's got everyone on his resume, though. I mean, who else does he need to fight besides Joshua? Maybe Efe Ajagba, and there's a couple others out there, but he's got a lot of names on his resume. And Andy Ruiz as well. It's just a couple, but...
Yeah, Malachi, you've been quiet. What's your take on this?
I'm going to start with your original question. You asked, what does it mean to the heavyweight division? I agree with Lucas. It means absolutely nothing but one thing. It means that we're going to be hearing a whole lot more of Dillian Whyte's mouth. Me personally, I actually like his quote-unquote mic game a little more than I like his fight game. I am, again, I've stated this before, I love the talkers. I love the guys who talk. I think they bring a beautiful aspect to the game. They make you want to watch the fight. And Whyte has a very good mouthpiece. Now, as for him fighting one of these younger guys, as someone suggested, absolutely not. If I'm him, I refuse. There's nothing to gain in fighting an up-and-comer except for losing my position. So I'm not taking no fight with anybody that's not a Wilder or a Ruiz or somebody that a win over is going to get me a title shot versus Joshua or Fury. Now, wasn't this fight for the WBC interim strap?
Yeah.
So that puts him in line for Fury.
He's been in line, though. They just keep shoving his ass to the back. Yeah, he's been in line.
He has, but we know the only organization body that really don't play no games when it comes to mandatories is the IBF. So the WBC, they don't really, look, they just create belts. No disrespect to the organization, they just create belts to get around mandatories and everything else. They don't care about mandatories. But the sad thing is, neither do we as fans, because when a guy fights a mandatory, we crap on this is a horrible match. How did this guy get to be the number one contender? Look a couple weeks ago.
If it's a mandatory with no name, yes, I completely agree. But we both know that the mandatories that the WBA or WBC want to make mean nothing. The fan mandatory is what really matters.
You know, I wanted to say this last week, but it sounds appropriate tonight. But it seems like the way that the boxing is set up right now, they either fight mandatories or they go after the money. Like, that's it. They're either taking a big money fight that's less risk to them, or they're just going to fight mandatories from here on out.
Which one do you prefer?
Me? I mean, look, if you're not cleaning out the division and becoming undisputed, what are you there for?
I mean, ideal boxing would run the best if it was a well-ran ranking system. And yes, they constantly fought mandatories. No voluntary fights. It's constantly a voluntary fight. You know, that was a big problem I had with Canelo in the beginning. You can see the potential in him, and you want these fights to happen. And here the WBC is, and other people telling me, well, wait, his time's coming. I'm like, wait. I mean, he's champion now. When you champion, you defend against the best. Bottom line. I mean, it should be that way a little bit more often. I think everybody, all commissions, and all sanctioning bodies, I mean, a little too lax with the, not facing the mandatory.
Yeah. Now, Shakura, just for you, I was talking heavyweights prospects earlier. I was talking about Fabio Wardley. He had a knockout victory against Eric Molina on the undercard. That kid looked pretty good
wasn't
with that
impressed.
knockout.
I wasn't impressed either. I don't mean to cut you off, Sakura. I didn't see the hype that the
Go
kid
ahead.
was coming
I don't
in
even
with.
know how to explain why I wasn't impressed. So go ahead with it, Malachi.
I mean, there was points in the fight where Molina, who's never been known as a puncher, was bringing the fight to him, and hitting him with some good shots. And I know the kid, it was considered a step up fight for the kid because of his who he's fought in the past in his resume. But there was a ton. I don't know if anyone has really followed him. There was a ton of hype behind this guy. They were really hyping this guy up, and I've never been that impressed. And I really wasn't impressed this fight. Congratulations on the win. I hope he comes out a little bit better his next time.
Oh my God, I know what it was. It was the hands down and not keeping your,
Guard up.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of that. But
Look, the kid's got potential.
Oh my
He's
goodness.
green though.
I'm
green.
like, look at him. So why are you hyping him up? I mean, not you, but I'm just saying. So why are they hyping him up before he's had a chance to lament himself a little bit better than that? He looked awful, and he got hurt. That's why he backed up on the ring, and he just got lucky as hell that punch landed. Well, it was like a combination that landed for Molina. So he just got real lucky, and Molina isn't a slouch either. So it was the kind of work he needed, no doubt, and he will learn from it hopefully. But I mean, I gotta put a pause on being impressed with him. Now, if you want to talk about some cheese, baby, I will talk to you about some cheesemen, because that was what you call impressive.
Well, didn't Molina? James may know the kid's name. Molina just fought a prospect and got destroyed. Do you know his name? The kid that Molina fought before this fight, James.
I would have to look it up. I would have to look it up, honestly.
I mean, he's the other big baby. I think that was him.
I understand what Rob is saying, the potential there because of the movement, because of the way he moves in the ring. But there was a whole lot of movement that just was for no reason, just to be moving around. And I was like, okay. There was a lot of hype following this kid.
I understand. I'm not talking about that. He took the man's punch. He took his biggest punch and came and knocked him out. He got a chin.
I'm very lucky.
That's what we need in the heavyweight division.
But when has homie ever been known as a real power puncher?
Molina's a crafty veteran though. Okay, he can sneak in a shot on it against a young kid, especially as green as this kid was. Yeah, there's a lot of hype, but there's hometown hype. There's a lot of hype over there in the UK. There's not hype here in the United States over this kid yet. This is really his first introduction to a worldwide audience. So he's very green.
Molina landed a lot of stuff on him, to be honest.
He did.
I mean,
he really did.
And he got knocked out. Give the kid some credit.
I don't have to give him a damn thing till I'm ready. And like I said, I'm on pause right now until I see some improvements. And stop with the showboating. Okay, nobody wants to see that in the ring. We want to see you, put in some effective aggression. Okay, so he's gonna have to, and he needed some defense. So I don't want to hear it.
Okay, we got a comment here from Dale. We got a comment from Dale Peoples. Dillian Whyte is just one step away from the WWE. He's at best can go either way. Nothing special about or people clamoring over him. Does any remember John Ruiz, the WBA champion? Case in point.
I like Dillian Whyte. I didn't at one point, though, to be honest with you, Dale. I didn't like him for a very long time. And then I started feeling bad because they was just straight up dissing my man. Every time he would win, they would still be like, oh, now we want you to fight Ortiz. Now we want you to fight Wilder. Now we're back to Ortiz. If you fight this Ortiz, then we'll give you the WBC contender. Yeah, number one contender status. So I started being like, you know what? Damn. Talk about some respect. He should be singing Aretha Franklin's Respect, because they was just like totally, I mean, even after win after win after win, I mean, they were still just like, no, AJ's our guy, And he actually hurt AJ.
All right. So I do want to pivot here to the next topic because, like I said, I do have some hidden gems for us tonight. That's definitely going to spark up some conversation. We might even do a rapid fire around it. So let's go ahead and pivot towards this weekend's fights coming up, where we have Carl Frampton against Herring. Guys, this is an important bout in this division. I believe this is a very important bout. And most importantly, it's a do or die bout for Carl Frampton. That being said, it could be a coming out party for him. What is your take on how this bout can go? Give me a preview and a prediction. And yes, this one counts. As you know, James has his clock.
Gotta keep keeping tally there, James.
Yeah.
Man, for me, I think this is more of a coming out party. I'm leading towards Herring. And, the reason why I look at Frampton's fights, the ones he's lost, he's always been outworked. That's kind of his MO. He got outworked. And I don't see Herring getting outworked. Not in this fight. He seems to have a little bit more of a want in him as well. He's got a little bit more of a hunger to him. Now, he is going to have to keep up, but I think he can keep up. And, he's going to turn into a war of attrition as far as these two go. I really can't see either one getting put out, so I like him winning a majority decision or a very close decision. Let's put it that way. Nobody's getting knocked out though.
Shakur?
CJ Hooker says I got the Jackal in this one. He needs it bad.
Yeah, I think there is one occasion where Frampton doesn't get outworked, and that's anytime that there's a title on the line. Because if I'm not mistaken, him in Santa Cruz, the first fight was for a title. So, for me, I like the Jackal. And so I've got to stick with my gut instinct on this one. Herring, he kind of took his last opponent for granted, but he didn't look that great. I don't know if it was, COVID or if he kind of took the competition for granted, but I just don't think he has quite as much experience as the Jackal does in these type of situations for championship belts, especially when it comes to the championship round. I'm going to stick with Frampton. I don't know. Could there be some type of KO or stoppage? That I'm gonna have to get back with you guys later. James, you cannot put down what I just said yet.
I didn't do anything.
He's gonna win, but I don't know if there could possibly be a stoppage or not. I think he's kind of small, so it's unlikely. But I'm gonna think about it.
Sakura said, "Leave that blank." Just leave
that part blank, because I'm on a winning streak, by the way.
Okay, Frampton, and Frampton with a blank. All right, very cool.
Thank you, James.
James, what do you got?
I'd like to see a Herring in this one, but he's a tall, quick fighter, a bit taller, better reach, so that could work in his favor if he can work his game plan. And take it to a decision. He should be able to outpoint Frampton. Frampton's tough though, and he's at that point in his life where he's got to come through with a victory. This is not exactly a do or die, but it's hot time for Frampton, and so it should be a great fight for everybody. I'm thinking Herring, not unanimous, Herring by decision.
Malachi?
2-1 so far.
I think that I agree with Lucas. I think this is going to be a coming out party for Herring. I agree with what James just said. As long as he'll use his reach and the advantages that he has, I think that he wins this fight on points. But I agree too with Sakara. This is a big fight for Frampton in this point in his career. So he's going to come to fight, and I think he's going to come. I think we're going to get an excellent show from both fighters. I know Herring's already I think they're fighting. Are they fighting in Saudi Arabia? He's already over there with him and his team. He looks in excellent shape. He's one of my Facebook friends. He looks in excellent shape. He is ready to go, and he is determined. So I'm going to ride that wave with Lucas and say this is a coming out party.
No, this is definitely going to be a coming out party for Herring. He's already prepared. He's already in shape. He's already ready. He's already over there. And that alone right there gives you a testament to what this means to him. But Frampton is Carl Frampton. And I love it when his back is against the wall and in a title fight. Frampton is the one that this situation is dire. Frampton is the one that needs to have a coming out party, so to speak. He needs to have a second coming in his career. He needs to not only put up a great showing, he needs to fight the best he's ever fought in life. And I think he knows it. It's a do or die situation. Frampton's going to be prepared to die in that ring. He knocks out him.
Wow.
Knockout?
10th round knockout.
See, you were leaning towards Herring, and then you just went all the way over there.
No, you see, I like to keep it suspenseful for you, because I think it is. It is a great fight for us. It's a great fight for our fans because this is what you want to see in boxing. You want to see a guy who's a prospect looking to make his name into that upper echelon. And then you want to see a guy like Frampton who's been there, who's took his licks, who's had his best showings and then caved a bit. And then now his back's against the wall. This is the type of fight that you want to see. But there's something inside. I've seen what let me put it to you like this. I've seen what Frampton's made of in these situations. I have not seen what Herring is made of yet. And I know he's going to show it to us. I just don't think he has it all. I don't think he has it all.
Fair enough.
All right, guys. Shakura, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, we're going to see this veteran, we're going to see some of these veteran moves and him dig deep. And he's got to bring out that soldier over there in that, desert. We got to have to see it. But I don't know who wouldn't want to go to Dubai quickly right now. I mean, we've been stuck in that. We've been kind of stuck in place for a while. I would have you getting me over there in the country now to Dubai? I'm ready. Let's go. I would have been ready to go too. I mean, you brought up a good point though. I mean, just the fact that Frampton is the one that, has more to lose if he loses. But I really just think that Frampton is a technical boxer. He don't get enough credit for it, but when he needs to box and outbox you, he know how to do it if he can just, be disciplined. Because sometimes what happens with him is he'll just get into that firestorm type situation and he want to brawl with you, he just get caught up in it. But he can stay on the outside and pick his punches well too.
Yeah, I don't know about Frampton being the one that has more to lose. I don't know if I'd agree to that. Here we are talking about. Frampton's kind of already a name, right? He's already established. Herring's the champion, being talked about as a challenger already for the most part, right? So I think more than anything, it's Herring that has more to lose. It's his belt on the line, not vice versa.
Right,
man.
Belt, but at the same time, Frampton, if he loses, he's going down to the bottom of the list again. Who knows if he gets another championship fight or not? I don't think Herring has that issue. I think he will get another title shot.
He won't though, and you know that. Look, he does not have the support around him that other fighters do. Let's be real. He doesn't have the promotion. He doesn't have the name. Frampton has that. Frampton could take a loss, get another big fight next weekend. We damn know Herring's not been having these kind of issues. He does not get these big fights, and there's a reason for that. This is his coming out party. He has to win this, or he's going to the very, very back. Frampton just moves the seat back.
Okay, we're gonna have to disagree on that one, but okay.
No, I mean, I actually think both. Like I said, this one is both. It's equal part. They both have to show good in this, which means the fans get a victory out of this. Really, they both have to have these victories, to be honest.
Well, only one is gonna get it unless it's a draw.
All right, guys. So, do you want the good stuff, the good stuff, or do you want the nasty stuff on this rapid fire?
Wait. What are we talking about? You got me a little worried.
Hey, I'm with the nasty.
I shouldn't even say, okay.
We're about to stream some Pornhub or something? Like, what the hell's going on?
Do you want the good news or do you want the bad news first? Which stuff do you want to talk about?
Hit me with the bad.
And actually, hit you with the okay. And actually, let's go to tweet of the week. Did we have a tweet of the week, Shakur?
I don't think we prepared one this week.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Why do you bring this up when I don't prepare? Then when I do prepare,
Yeah, when you do, he forgets and it just gets pushed to the side.
So
right.
I told you. I said
bring it up.
You got to be a better host, bro.
I actually do have some Twitter beef, though. I had some Twitter.
CJ says bad news first. Go ahead. Sorry, Screw.
Oh, okay, no problem. I had Alicia Baumgartner, a female boxer, and her and Kayla Mayers, they were going at it. You know, Alicia, she said that they offered her a fight with Michaela, but then she never heard anything back once she agreed. And then Kayla came back later on, like a day later. She's like, oh, well, I told them to offer you to fight again, and let's not have no excuses. I'm like, ooh! Like, okay, let's get it out. Now, a lot of people don't know Alicia yet, but Alicia is somebody to really be on the watch out for. She's had trainers like Tony Harrison's father behind her, coaching her, and I've seen her actually fight here in the Florida, Tampa Bay area before too. Very impressive, very nice looking. Some of you might know her, Rob, because she's a very pretty woman. So, I mean, she's definitely somebody to look out for. I'm trying to see if I can't get her for one of my ladies' nights so I can delve into just like what the hell is going on here.
Yeah.
Okay. So bad news first. I think I'm gonna go with the good stuff.
The fans answer. You're gonna go the opposite.
Okay, fine then. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out which one's gonna get the most rants because I do want to get to the good stuff.
But CJ says bad news first, end on a high note.
Oh, that's
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Okay.
Good advice.
Here goes the crap. Y'all ready for it? Let's start this one off. By the way, this is all via my valuable source that I only look to, which is per ESPN. We can do this in a rapid fire session. Fans, please chime in if you want to. I think you're going to enjoy these topics. First off, former champs to duel as Manuel Marquez and Miguel Cotto book June exhibition bout. Yes. I'm talking Juan Manuel Marquez versus Miguel Cotto in a June exhibition bout. Guys, do we want to see this? Are we excited for this? What is your take? Lucas, you're shaking your head.
No, I don't want to see it, okay? I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to promote it in any way. CJ Hooker just commented my exact thing. Why? And that's what I said in our offline group chat because it just doesn't make sense. Look, it's just for money. It's like, hey, I want some money. Can you give it to me? No, I got to fight for it. Okay, who can I fight? We'll set up a sparring session and get paid for it. It's ridiculous, and I think it needs to stop. Look, we're not talking about Mike Tyson coming out of like a 30-year retirement and fighting. Like, that's a spectacle. That's something to witness. Like, Miguel Cotto is just recently fighting. It's not that much far gone yet to be like, oh, remember Miguel Cotto? No, nobody wants to see it. Like, if Marquez wanted money, he could have came back and fought Pacquiao again. Look, he avoided it because he got the big knockout, and he's like, nope, And as CJ said earlier, I'm going out on a high note. I'm getting the hell out of here. And here we are. We're going to talk about Pacquiao, I'm sure, in a minute, too. Maybe that's even the thing to end on the high note. I don't know. But it just doesn't make sense. I don't want to see the fight.
Oh, Lucas.
They're both so far gone.
Lying?
What?
I want to see Cotto.
What fight?
Want to see Cotto. I sure damn hell do.
Cotto hadn't been shit since 147. I'm sorry to say it. No
Watch
disrespect.
Watch it.
No disrespect to Miguel Cotto. But let's face it.
About the Puerto Rican.
He did not do anything once he left welterweight. He did not do anything once he left welterweight. And I'm supposed to be excited for him to come out of retirement to fight Marquez? No, sell that somewhere else. I'm not buying.
You said he didn't do anything, but he was he grabbed another belt and
Hey, we've talked about how easy it is to get your hands on a belt now. Who did he beat? Who did he beat at 154?
Martinez was ready for it, and he
had two knee braces on. A strong wind knocked him over later that night. It did not matter. Look.
Calm down. The point is that you are speaking for yourself when you say that we don't want to see Cotto. Now, Marquez, I can agree with you on a little bit of that because I think that was effed up that Pacquiao gave him all these damn chances in all these sequels, and then as soon as he actually got the decision and won, he was like not even gonna give him one.
Hey, that would be me though.
Fight.
That would be me. I'm petty like that. I'd be like, nope, I knocked you out. I'm done. They'd be like, keep fighting. I'd be like, nope, I
think
win.
After 2, 3, I mean, he should have let the man have at least one fight. I mean, he let him have 3 fights. Come on now. So I had a problem with that, but I'm not mad at this at all, guys. I mean, exhibitions, sparring matches, whatever you want to call it. Let these daggone former champions and retired boxers get them some extra money. I mean, they both have. Marquez got plenty of Mexican fans behind him. Cotto holding down Puerto Rico as well as New Eureka. Come on, we got to support this one.
I mean,
this is Mexican versus Puerto Rico as well.
This is showing what's wrong with really fighting contracts and promoters, period. I think there needs to be something of a fighter union or we wouldn't even be seeing a need for these fights. This fight would not be happening. I mean, maybe they do just want a larger sum of money, but I'm sitting here thinking like if they had steady income, if there was just something that they'd be making money off of besides fighting, I think they take it. I don't know.
Miguel Cotto is a promoter. He does have his own promotional company.
Yeah, he does well.
Marquez is an announcer, right?
He does very well as an announcer. He does.
Mexico.
Point.
So it must be.
It's obvious.
It must be a large sum of money. I mean, because if you're wanting to relive, you wouldn't have just an exhibition. You come back, right? It's got to be about money. At the end of the day, it's got to be a comeback about money.
I agree with Lucas.
Yep, go ahead.
I agree with Lucas. I'm sorry, Sakara. I do not want to see Miguel Cotto in the ring again.
Oh, well, yeah,
if these two guys were fighting, like if they were still fighting, we'd be like, what the hell? This guy's won a title at 160. The other guy, I think the highest he went was 147. This is a complete and utter mismatch. Even though we know Cotto fought at 147, but he went to on up in the divisions, even though he was fighting for the 160 belt at a catchweight. But that's a different topic for a different day. But nobody would want to see this fight. We'd be talking how bad it is. Now it's an exhibition. So how fat is Marquez? I mean, I hate to say it like that. Like, how fat is he that we're going to have to see him fight a Miguel Cotto who the last time we seen him in the ring was it fighting at 160?
Right. He's going to have
that's
more.
A huge question for me.
He's going to have more water weight than when he fought Floyd for sure. And that was a much slower Marquez.
It's not just for money, though, guys. It's for the fact that they miss the attention, they miss the lights, they miss the action. That's what it's about too.
Save that energy.
Money. It's about them missing that life. So I mean, let's not make it seem like it's all about the money because it's a lot of them that just want to hear that roar of the crowds and signing autographs and people loving and adoring them. it's a lot to do with that too.
But if you want to do that, get in shape and fight right. Go ahead.
Save that energy, Shakur. James,
I gotta agree with this Sakura 100% there. These guys did well as professional athletes. In the case of Juan Manuel Marquez, he made American money and took it back to Mexico. He lives well. He does well as an announcer. He's got his faculties. He's sharp. He's wonderful to listen to. He's got a lot of experience. Just love the guy. Cotto, he's doing well with Cotto Promotions. He's got his fighters. He's got his stable of fighters that's, blossoming and growing every month. And I have to agree, Sakura, they do it for the love of the sport. I think they're probably both in pretty good shape. It looks like Cotto, from what I've seen, in interviews and stuff, like he's looking pretty good. I think Juan Manuel Marquez is looking really, really good. I don't think he's gained much weight at all. I'm sure he has. He's not fighting, but no, he's doing pretty well. And these things that we're seeing, to me, are a sign of a different thing. It's a different issue here, and there's something going on in boxing. And what is it? Something that's not going on, and the fights that should be made are not getting made. And we're having YouTubers come in and steal some of that limelight and take a lot of attention from the sport because those fights aren't being made. We're having people come out of retirement like Tyson, like Holyfield, like Roy Jones, like I think Sergio Martinez.
I hate to say it, but I would rather watch Ben Askren versus Jake Paul than this fight.
We'll see how that goes. That could be a decent match.
Wow.
I saw him. I don't know if that's the same Paul that I saw fight KSI, but
I heard for that.
Hopefully he's learned a little bit more about the sport, and he looked pretty serious when I saw him train. So good for him.
Paul's
I have no problem with YouTubers.
Yeah, Jake's the one that just beat Robinson.
I don't want to go to the YouTuber realm. I don't want to do that because we got enough juice right now.
Cool.
We got enough juice right now. Trust me, I got other stuff for y'all.
I do want to say this, and I'll say it real quickly. There's something going on in boxing, and it's what's not happening. The fights aren't getting made, and we're having YouTubers, and we're having people come out of retirement because there's so much voids to fill. It's a sad thing, man. But
hold that energy, y'all. Hold that energy. There's more. I got more for you. Hold that energy.
One second. We're talking about Crawford Spence. But how long have we been talking Crawford Spence? Are we going to talk about Crawford Spence like we talked about Pacquiao Mayweather for 5 years? 5 years before they got in the ring. 5 years too late, I thought.
And I don't think they're wanting to do that.
That was not the fight of the year, I'll tell you that.
And I don't think that. I think the fans are fed up and they don't want to see that, to your point, James. So let me bust out another one for you. Before I do have to put in perspective with this exhibition bout. So Marquez hasn't fought since May of 2014, which his last fight was his highest was at junior welterweight. Miguel Cotto last fight in December of 2017, which of course was at middleweight. So that's just to put that in perspective there. The official announcement has yet to be made. So let's move on to that and move on to this. Oscar De La Hoya to make return to ring after 13 years on July 3rd. Boxing legend Oscar De La Hoya announced Friday that he has a date in mind for his return to the ring. At a news conference from Triller, De La Hoya took the stage alongside Snoop Dogg at the Venetian and announced that he will be making his comeback on July 3rd. Of course, there hasn't been an opponent announced. He is dead set in saying he is serious about getting into this ring. Bring that energy, guys. Bring it.
Positive or negative? What are you saying? Is this supposed to be positive or negative?
Yeah, no. I mean, let's. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as the last fight we were talking about. It's literally the same thing. I just don't. There's not a reason for Oscar De La Hoya to come back. He's not actually going to be doing it. It's not a comeback. It's an exhibition fight. If they miss the sport, then come back to the sport. Don't come back to the celebrity part of the sport where you just cash in on some money and you leave. You're going to come back, make us all pay some pay-per-view. Now, this is exactly what James is saying is 100% correct. We don't have the names anymore. We have a lot. We're in an infancy again. It's almost like boxing's dying, but it's being reborn right now, right? We have upcoming stars like Teofimo Lopez and more, but he's just an example. Meanwhile, we don't have the pay-per-view guys now, so they have to bring them back from yesteryear, and it's not a good look. It's not a good look for boxing. Boxing looks really gross right now because of it in my eyes, and I'm tired of it. It's just, it's making a mockery. I didn't like it when Floyd Mayweather did it against McGregor, and I definitely don't like it now, whether it's, Sergio Martinez, whether it's Marquez versus Cotto, or whether it's De La Hoya. I like all set above. I mean, I have more respect for them than anything, but at the same point, it's just they're not showing the same respect for the sport, I think.
All right,
I just
Shakur,
wanna go back to the clip. I want to go back to the clip when everybody, including Oscar, was like, "Oh wait, Floyd is making a mockery of boxing.
Exactly.
He's finishing boxing, and now every last one of them wants to have an exhibition fight. Floyd Mayweather should go around and be like, I told you so, I told you so, and he should start replaying all these people."
Don't you see that Floyd was bad?
That shit that was negative towards what he was doing. So he could just have a laughing moment like, yeah, y'all said it was this and this and that, and now here you go, you're doing the exact same thing. So, it's like you had a problem with it when I was doing it, but now you're on board to do it yourself.
Right.
So
don't you see that Floyd was bad for boxing? I mean, he started that trend. He started the whole O, and once you lose your O, then you're nothing. And
so let me.
He was
like
great.
This, though,
he was
James.
great as. I just wanted to say about Floyd, he was great as Pretty Boy, but when he turned into money, just kind of didn't work for me anyway.
Became just that, yeah.
Well, let's think about why he had to turn into money. Because when he was Pretty Boy, people were sleeping on him and not paying.
Pretty Boy was violent.
Yeah,
he fought.
But I'm saying
like a monster.
Let's talk about the whole money situation. Why he had to change into money, and it's because when he was Pretty Boy, he was not making the kind of money like it put more pressure on him to need to come up with this strategy.
I mean, he made a character. Yeah, he realized how it plays out in the entertainment world for sure.
And he paid his due, the prop dues. The problem is now is that boxers today want to emulate that, but they haven't done the Pretty Boy stage. Right. Like they just want to instantly be like, I'm a pay-per-view star. Like, no, you're not.
Yeah, bro, what? We're supposed to have good news. What is this? This is bad news still.
No, it's bad news. I told you.
Oh, okay. You switched it up and you introduced Oscar De La Hoya. I thought you were saying this was the good news. And I'm like, what?
No, I got a ton of them. I got some more. Malachi, you been quiet, buddy. What's your take on Oscar?
Yeah, I agree once again with Lucas, and this is unusual that we agree this much on a show.
I know, it's getting scary there.
But I just don't see the point in this. And one of the names I've heard float around is McGregor. I don't know if anyone else has seen that. There was some rumors going around that it was going to be McGregor. Oh, man. And I just think it's ironic.
McGregor out.
I agree, but it's just ironic that he had so much to say when Floyd, who fought McGregor, and even though we didn't agree with it, it actually went on the records. It was an actual professional prize fight. Whether or not we agree it should have been or not, it counted on his record. So Oscar's fighting him in an exhibition if it goes down that way. I think Oscar needs to stick to the exhibitions, however, because if he gets in there with any of these young boys, he's going to wish he didn't.
Oh, you know what?
So,
that's what he said on the DAZN card with Virgil Ortiz. He did say, I don't want to go exhibition. I want why not a real fight? That's
full
exactly
gun.
what he said.
I have more respect for that. I'll give him that. But let's add one more into the mix and just throw that in there too. Of course, Chavez Jr. He's fighting Silva.
That was my
Right.
next one. You just
Right.
don't. That was my next topic.
I want to point out to Lucas too.
That's my next.
Boxing's not the only combat sport that legends end up fighting each other way past their prime in either. If you go look at MMA, not necessarily on the UFC, but you go look at like the Bellator and some of the lower echelons of MMA, you'll see a lot of quote unquote legends well past their prime fighting each other, but they're not exhibitions.
No,
they actually count
go for blood. Yeah.
So just to put context on it here, they have been discussing his return for a long time. The card, Kavanaugh said the card will take place probably in Texas, possibly AT&T Stadium, and the promotional company is targeting a big, quote unquote, big UFC star name.
I'm worried about this fight very much so, because Chavez Jr. is not a good representation of boxing. And
no,
if he
we're
loses
talking about
this,
De La Hoya still. We're still talking about that. We're on De La Hoya. This is De La Hoya.
I figured that one would be in Texas too, so hell, I didn't know.
De La Hoya is fighting probably going to be in AT&T Stadium, and they're targeting, quote unquote, a big UFC name for his opponent. This also is a multi-fight deal with Triller for Oscar De La Hoya. Now, I was trying to do a DJ Khaled and hit you with another one, but you had already said it. Anderson Silva to face Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in a boxing match June 19th. Guys, this, to me, is not even worth watching. I hate to say it, it's not worth watching.
Well, it's scary. He can't represent boxing against MMA. Look, I already have to defend boxing on a daily basis here in the Midwest. I don't want to keep having to do it, okay? And this is just going to make it so much worse should Chavez Jr. not show up on weight, look all shitty and shit, then get knocked out or something ridiculous. I can't have it, okay? It's going to cause me too much anxiety and stress in my everyday life. I just can't live that way.
Rob, what if Silva punches Chavez in the nose? Then what's going to happen?
Well, you know what? My issue with this whole thing is Chavez keeps fighting.
It's over.
That's my problem. Why does Chavez keep fighting?
You're not good at it. Give up.
The money.
Maybe Sakura saw the punchline in that, but no, I mean the guy's just walked out of the ring a few times and just not really done well for his name. And am I interested in seeing Chavez Silva? Probably not.
But people keep paying to watch Chavez Jr.
People do.
I mean, that's what is so shocking to me. I'm like, how many times can I watch this dude fight?
He's got a following.
There's a lot of things there.
There's
a lot of things there. There was supposed to be some issue with Camacho Jr. where the two Chavez siblings and senior Chavez were supposed to fight Camacho. I'm not sure if that's still on or if that's
James,
been
also
modified
on
somehow.
the card.
I'm not sure.
Also on the card, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. will fight Hector Camacho Jr.
Okay,
that's the draw
so
right there.
That's moved out. That's moved out. Sorry, Malachi. That's moved out of Mexico because that was supposed to take place down there, and then so you said it's in Texas now. Okay. And I guess
that was De La Hoya. I don't know where this fight is taking place.
Okay, I'm not sure either, but I'm not the most interested in it. It's kind of a funky subject, but there's a sibling in there, and I guess he's known as the businessman, and he's supposed to be involved in this card as well. So everybody's working.
But
as we say in Espanol, mucho trabajo.
But Senior fighting again. We just seen him fight a fight, and that shit was ridiculous.
Well, that's one of the one of the things that
he's got. He already knows Junior's going to tear the name down. He has to build it back up.
Yeah.
No. I saw a clip on Senior, and he was talking about his life in boxing and all this stuff, and he was actually pretty funny and eloquent and everything, but. He was talking about some of his kids and some of his granddaughters and grandsons and all this. He's in really good shape. And he actually mentioned, and he said this jokingly, but he said, I really hope that one of these kids can do something with my name. And he said that jokingly. So take that with a grain of salt.
Right, he was for real.
He said
there's a lot of truth said in jest.
Said it for
All
a
right.
reason. Yes, sir. I agree.
Yep.
All right, guys. So I'm done with the ridiculous shit. I promise good news.
They're ridiculous.
I had a surprise for y'all tonight. I'm shocked nobody leaked this. So are you guys? Let me just ask you, drum roll. Are you ready for this good news?
I don't know. Good news
All
is
right.
always bad with the boxing community. It's you got to take the good with the bad.
So this is excellent news, guys. The WBC has announced a 115-pound round robin tournament between Roman Gonzalez, Ron Francisco Estrada, Soren Visal, and Carlos Cuadros. So they've actually announced a tournament for the four fighters in a round robin style, with the fights being announced as Gonzalez versus Roman Gonzalez versus Estrada 3, and Soren Visal versus Carlos Cuadros. They're going to be on the same card, and then the winners face each other, the losers face each other. Round robin style tournament.
Man,
Yay!
where's Javi? Because I need the patented.
Under 130, Rob. You announcing news now, and excited about somebody under.
Pops on the light.
Now, why do you have to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
put
Rob
shade
was
on
like,
my
"Oh."
Lucas, go ahead. You were saying.
Where's Javi? Because I need the patented saying. You know the saying. This is boxing porn. That's what this is. Everybody that's a boxing fan is happy with that announcement. So yes, Rob, that's actually just good news. I don't think that's any bad news that I can think of.
Yeah, and it's
Shakur?
actually WBC. So I wanted Javi to be up here so we could see him say something positive about the World Boxing Council. Because he be going in. So, I mean, we got a tournament. It's something that everybody will love. I'm a fan of tournaments. I mean, I haven't seen anything really good with the tournament situation besides, Boxio when, ESPN used to carry them. And the Boxio tournament, and then the Super 6 tournament. So, hey, I'm all down for this one, too.
Yeah.
So who
Boxing
do you guys
tournament's
think
great.
is going to be the winner, though, of all those fights?
That's the crazy part. James, your take?
I love this. This is all going to be through DAZN, so we get a really, really good show here. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I did mention that Carlos Cuadros did beat Sorongusa in Mexico City several years ago. And he's good. He's game. And think about that one fight when Gonzalez fought Israel Gonzalez. So Chocolatito against Israel Gonzalez. He won that fight. Carlos Cuadros fought and also did well against Estrada. Lost ultimately, but took him down. Knocked him down in the second or third round, I think, or maybe the first even. I don't recall. But I love Carlos Cuadros. Good dude. And I really like tournament boxing, the Super 6 and all of that, that Richard Schaefer did. Good stuff there. We saw that when Nonito Donaire and Monster Inoue came down to it. That was the end of a tournament as well. I love this stuff. There's a lot of predictability there. I get it. But at the same time, we're always in for a good surprise. And so really good news there. That's excellent news, and I look forward to it. Sooner the better.
They bring out the best.
And let's learn from this one. Let's learn from this one and see if some of these other promoters like PBC, who's got like some really strong stables in the welterweight. Are you listening, Al Heyman? Welterweights to put together a tiny little tournament, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 fighters, or 7 or 8 to our liking, and get it on.
And this is what I was trying
Please.
to say earlier. If the the sanctioning bodies did what they were supposed to do, the division would be done this way anyway. They're all going to have to be fighting each other, right? I mean, if that's how this is supposed to work correctly, then that's what we would be getting. Now, you take the good with the bad, though. Like I said, with boxing, you don't get the fights that should be made even. Sometimes they could be, let's say, like top rank versus top rank, but yet you'll get ones that jump ship. Now, in MMA, you will never see a multi-promotional thing. This is what I defend boxing with all the time. You will never see a UFC belt versus a Bellator belt. The winner gets both belts. You don't see that way. But people
Lucas,
don't understand how
it's
boxing
rare
works
here.
that way.
But that's more the exception here.
Yeah.
There's very little crossover here. Way too little. And it's ruining the sport.
Well, I mean, yes, the Cold War never ended. Everybody was like, oh, the top rank of Golden Boy back in the day. That never ended. If anything, they just shattered off, and it's worse now more than it ever is. I agree with you. They don't. But the reason it's better still is that they can, and they at least will. There's at least a shred of a possibility, whereas MMA doesn't do it at all.
Well, watch them say, well, we can make it happen when it's a lower weight class because they're not paid as much as, the bigger guys are.
Paid by the pound. Paid by the pound.
That's not the case in this one, Shakura. The last flyweight bout that was televised on DAZN probably, I think, what they were saying had the most viewerships of the lower weight class probably
That's
ever.
Not what I said.
She said money.
I said the promoters are going to say that they can do a tournament at a lower weight class because they don't have to pay their boxers type of money that the big boys would be wanting or required. So they're going to try to give us that excuse.
The purpose of this tournament is for them to get paid. That's what DAZN flat out said. They said that it had the best viewerships that they've seen in a long time, and they want them to get their just due, and they want them to get paid.
I don't know about that, but it's a good marketing tool.
What's up, Malachi? What you got for that?
I love it because, as you know, I love the lower weight classes. I'm very excited for this tournament. In my opinion, these are the four biggest names in the division, maybe the four best currently. Carlos Cuadras, when he fought Estrada, he had him hurt in a round that they stole 26 seconds from him. So he could have put Estrada away, and we would have seen a rematch between him and Roman, which was an excellent fight, if anybody remembers that fight between Roman Gonzalez and Cuadras. That was amazing. So, no matter what, no matter who gets to the end, we're going to see two unbelievable fights. I personally, I don't know if we're picking. We did on our show. I would love to pick Roman. I thought Roman won the fight against Estrada. I would love to see Roman win, but I gotta lean toward Ruvasai right now. I think that he's gonna beat Cuadras, and then I think he's gonna go on and beat Estrada, who he already has a victory. Those two fought each other twice, I believe, in their 1-1. I think he's gonna get him in that rematch. So
that's correct.
But I'm super excited, and I agree with everybody. We need this across the board in boxing. We need every division to do this. Unfortunately, we know it's not going to happen.
Well, I agree with you on that one, but
that it happens in some type of weight division. I mean, besides this one, I'm gonna hold out hope that we have at least one more. I mean, it's four boxers, not like Super 6 required 6, and on and on. If we could just make them little short four boxer ones, it's not as it should not be as hard to do.
Yeah, so let me tell you like this. I've already come out on a limb and said it, and I'm telling all our fans who are still watching right here. These four fighters are four of the best fighters in the world. I don't give a damn what weight class. These are four of the top fighters in the world. And they're all going to fight on the same cards on the same night twice. Twice.
And it's about time you recognize that, Rob.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is not about weight classes.
I'm happy to see the progress.
I know.
This is not about weight classes. It's not
proud
about
of you.
Divisions. After seeing telecast after telecast, show after show, fight after fight, these four fighters right here fight the best out of the period. They fight the best out of anybody I've ever seen.
Now this is
any
all
of these divisions.
all in the same evening. they fight twice. I really thought that they would split it up and come back.
No, it's
3
two.
months
It's
later.
going to be 2 sessions, right? It's going to be 2 sessions, but they're going to have the Roman Chocolatito versus Estrada 3, and then Quadros versus Serrano Visal on the same night. And then they come back again, and then they'll have the winners fight each other and the losers fight each other on the same night.
How many rounds do they fight in their first bouts?
This
it just doesn't make sense that they would do this.
No,
I can't see.
I'm sorry, not on the same night, James. Not on the same night.
No, that's what I understood.
Yeah,
no.
I was just saying that.
I've never. I think they did this in WWE once, but not boxing.
No, not on the same night. They're going to be on the same cards. The cards, plural. They're going to be on the same cards. You're going to have
they're not fighting twice on the same night.
Right, no. They're going to have 2 different cards.
Got it.
Meaning we get 2 different shows, which to me is fantastic, though. We get 2 different shows on 2 different fight cards this year where 4 of the best fighters fight each other.
Yeah.
Period. All right, guys, that was the show. I had some bullshit. I had some good news. I had some, everything. James, hopefully we get Tony on next week.
Yeah, and I really want to say I apologize to all those who are expecting to see Tony here with us tonight. There was some technical difficulties. We couldn't get him on through Zoom. We'll work on that. We'll get it fixed, and we'll have him here shortly. I'm not sure that it would be next week. I hope so, because I love to see him work. I'd love to talk to him here. And once again, I'm really sorry that this didn't work out tonight, but we'll work on it.
Yep. And if we can't do the Zoom, we'll set up something else. We can always put him on speaker or something like that. So any way that we can get him, we'll take him. Legendary Tony Weeks. Just stay tuned. Stay up to date on all your social media here at Heavy Bag Boxing.
All right, guys. That's the show.
Thank you. See you all again next week. Every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern.